Ethan was just another face in the crowd, silent, unnoticed, and lost in the rush of everyday life. He walked with his head down, feeling like a shadow in a world that never looked his way. His dreams once burned bright, but now they felt far away, impossible to reach. Why bother dreaming, he often thought. No one sees me, no one cares. Doubt filled his heart, making every step feel heavy. But deep inside, hidden beneath the fear and uncertainty, a tiny spark still remained, a quiet hope that maybe, just maybe, life had more to offer. One cold afternoon, Ethan wandered into a park, lost in thought. That's when he saw him an old man sitting on a bench, staring at the sky as if searching for something. His face was aged, full of deep lines, but his eyes were bright and full of wisdom. "Are you lost too?" the old man asked, his voice soft but firm. Ethan hesitated. I don't know." The man smiled and motioned for him to sit. "We all feel lost sometimes," he said. "But being lost doesn't mean you're insignificant." Ethan didn't understand what the man meant, but for the first time in a long time, he felt seen. Ethan couldn't stop thinking about what the old man had said. Being lost isn't the same as being insignificant. The words echoed in his mind, but their meaning was still unclear. One evening, he found himself wandering the city again, and there, by the fountain, was the old man waiting as if he knew Ethan would return. "What did you mean?" Ethan asked. "How can someone like me matter?" The old man smiled. "Not everyone has to be loud to be important. Your worth isn't about how much attention you get. It's in the small things you do. That's what truly matters." Ethan listened, and for the first time, the weight of doubt began to lift. The next morning, something felt different. Ethan's life hadn't changed overnight, but the way he saw it had. The world no longer seemed like a place where he was invisible. As he walked, he noticed the warmth of the sun on his skin, the sound of children laughing, the little moments that made life beautiful. "Your worth isn't measured by attention," the old man had said. For the first time, Ethan understood. He didn't need to be famous. He didn't need to prove himself to the world. He just needed to exist, to embrace the small, meaningful moments. And in that, he had already made a difference. Just when Ethan started believing in himself, life tested him. He ran into Jake, an old classmate, loud, popular, always surrounded by friends. And as expected, Jake laughed. "You think you're special now? Just because some old man told you so?" Ethan's heart pounded. Doubt crept in. Was Jake right? Had he really changed? Or was it all just in his head? Then, Ethan remembered the old man's words. Strength wasn't about never doubting it. Was about moving forward despite the doubt. He met Jake's gaze and said, "I don't need to prove anything to you. I'm just trying to be me." And for the first time, Jake's words didn't matter. Ethan wanted to do more than just change his mindset, wanted to take action. One afternoon at a cafe, he overheard a conversation. Two people were worried an upcoming charity event was failing due to a lack of support. Without thinking, Ethan stood up. "I'll help," he said. The organizers were surprised but grateful. "We need someone to organize donations." Ethan didn't hesitate. "I may not have much, but I can help with that." As he worked, he felt something change inside him. His actions, small but meaningful, were making a difference. And that difference was enough. Ethan had come far, but doubt still whispered in the back of his mind. Can I really keep this up? One late night, he found Mr. Bennett again, sitting by the fountain. "I've been thinking," Ethan admitted. "I get what you said about self-worth, but what if I fail?" The old man smiled. "What if you don't? Failing doesn't make you insignificant, it makes you human, and in that there's power." Ethan took a deep breath. He had feared failure for so long, but now, for the first time, he saw it differently. Maybe failure wasn't the end. Maybe it was just part of the journey. Just when Ethan thought he had a handle on life, he faced his biggest challenge yet. Clara, his close friend, needed his help. Her startup was struggling, and she needed a leader to guide a creative team. Me? Ethan hesitated. I don't know if I can do that. Doubt trying to pull him back. But then, he remembered Mr. Bennett's words. Strength wasn't about never feeling doubt, it was about pushing forward despite it. I'll do it, Ethan said. And as he led his team, organized ideas, and found solutions, he realized something surprising. He wasn't just doing this for Clara. He was proving to himself that he could. As the project neared its deadline, everything seemed to fall apart. Deadlines were tight, the team was exhausted. Clara looked worried. Ethan, we can't do this. We don't have enough time. Ethan felt his stomach drop. If this failed, it would be on him. But then, he remembered he had been afraid before, and every time he had pushed through. We'll make it work, he said. I believe in us. And something changed. The team pulled together. They worked through the night, pushing beyond their limits. When the final project was revealed, it was better than anyone had imagined. Ethan didn't just succeed. He proved once and for all that he was capable. Days later, Ethan found himself sitting with Mr. Bennett again. But this time, something felt different. You did it, Mr. Bennett said, smiling. Ethan nodded. But I realized something. It was never about the project. It was about me learning that I matter. The old man's eyes twinkled. That's the lesson, Ethan. True worth isn't something others give you, it's something you find within yourself. Ethan looked out at the city. He knew there would be more challenges, more doubts, more failures. But for the first time, he wasn't afraid. Because now, he knew the truth: no one is truly insignificant. And with that knowledge, he was ready for whatever came next.